morning, Netnod. Today I stand here not in capacity of NTT, but as a representative of the PeeringDB Board of Directors. As some of you may have noticed, PeeringDB changed a lot yesterday. Or was it the day before yesterday? The day before yesterday. Who here in this room uses PeeringDB? And who uses it on a daily basis? Awesome. PeeringDB has been around for roughly 12 years or so, and a lot of changes happened in the last 12 months. And I'm going to highlight some of the changes. I'll highlight what is what is going to be very important in the upcoming months, and how you can seek support. As of March 15th, we've put in a new code base that replaces the old PHP code that has been around for 12 years. And with this, a lot of changes have come. One of the more important changes is that we no longer expose a raw SQL interface for people's scripts. This also means that the daily dump no longer is being refreshed with new data. The reason why we did this is not only is SQL not a perfect interface between scripts that cross domain boundaries, but the data model that was exposed through the SQL interface was far from perfect. In the previous PeeringDB, for instance, we allowed all kinds of character sets. The data was not normalized, the data was not validated. So instead of IP addresses, you could input fields like to be determined, which of course, if you want to do fully automated peering, is useless data. So we did away with all of that, and we are now focusing on the API, and I'll cover that in a second. So if you have scripts that depend on the SQL interface, please take a look at the API and stop using the SQL interface. If you have issues because of this change, reach out to support at PeeringDB. Let's take this is a snapshot of the new web interface. And one of the more notable changes is that no longer you have to create multiple entries for both v4 and v6. So you can see, we're now grouping v4 and v6 on internet exchanges, which is a more fair representation, which is a better representation of your actual interconnections. Other cool features are now that as a user, you can associate yourself with multiple organizations, and as an organization, you can now create multiple networks. So there's a lot more flexibility in how you manage the data that is related to peering. The color scheme also changed, so I hope you're not angry at that. The true bread and butter behind PeeringDB 2.0 is the API. If you go to peeringdb.com/API, this is what you get. For instance, we have there's a command-based client now that only uses the API. Internally, the applications all rely on the API. If you, for the first time ever, PeeringDB is giving you programmatic access to its data, where the data is considered the first-class citizen, and enabling your automation is considered a key priority. Previously, you had to scrape the SQL database. About the organization behind PeeringDB. Quite recently, a few months ago, an official entity was created to govern PeeringDB. It is filed as a non-profit in the United States, and there is an actual board which was elected by representatives from the community. The way we created, the way the community representatives can vote is that you have to have a PeeringDB account, and you need to subscribe to the PeeringDB governance mailing list. If you do both those steps, you can vote on decisions that are relevant to PeeringDB. In the last elections, this was a temporary board of directors. 86 people voted, and there are roughly 5,000 networks registered in PeeringDB. So part of me thinks that it's very cool that almost 100 people got up and spoke their mind. On the other hand, I don't think there's room for improvement. So if you use PeeringDB, consider signing up for the governance mailing list, track that, and vote when it's necessary. At this moment, we have 2 committees that run the daily operations. There's the Product Development Committee, who will be chartered to introduce changes into PeeringDB. This is a key element. For 12 years, there has been almost no change to PeeringDB because the code base was computer-generated PHP code. Function names were hexadecimal references. It was extremely hard to do anything with that code. Now, we have a nice Django backend. There is Python code, which is written by humans instead of computers. So now, for the first time, we can actually start introducing changes to PeeringDB, adding features, easy bug fixing. And I think that is awesome, because finally we can move forward with PeeringDB as a service to this community. And that moving forward will be governed by the Product Development Committee. Then there is the Admin Committee. They are the first line of support. If you email support@peeringdb.com, it ends up at the Admin Committee, who will help you with anything related to your account or any questions you might have. If you want to volunteer for either of these committees, please reach out to us, make it known that you're interested in this particular task. For instance, with the Admin Committee, if you want to volunteer for this, we expect you to do maybe 4, 5 tickets a day. And for the Product Development Committee, I'm not entirely sure what the workload is, because that is a new thing. Come April 2016, there will be elections. The current board of directors only was there to set up the organization, but to propel the organization forward into the future, there will be elections again. And all seats on the board of directors will be up for election. If you are interested in running for the board of PeeringDB, please make it known so we can put your candidacy up on our websites. So in April, I expect all of you register to the PeeringDB governance list, and please use your voice to vote. PeeringDB, for the first time ever, is also now taking donations. These donations are used to fund the development of PeeringDB. Even though this is a community-driven, volunteer-driven effort, none of the board of directors receive any compensation. There are costs associated with PeeringDB, and those costs should be carried by the community. If you use PeeringDB in a professional capacity, you could consider contributing to keep this effort going. We have various tiers, and this is basically an EP-ness measurement. If we look at current sponsors, Netnod is one of them. Thank you, Netnod. There are other internet exchanges as well, SX, FranceAX, DKIX, who have made financial contributions to keep PeeringDB alive. Please join this group of beautiful organizations. The people, if you email support@peeringdb.com, it is very likely that one of these fine people is helping you. And I want to extend a public thank you to Greg, Matt, Arnold and Florian for handling tickets on a daily basis. The current board of directors is composed of Aaron Hughes, Patrick Gilmore, Matt Griswold, Arnold Nipper, and myself. Are there questions so far about the new PeeringDB? Not a single question?
I have a comment. Well, first of all, thanks a lot for this fantastic work. I think it's been a long time coming, and it's great to see that it's finally coming to fruition. And then I have a comment to everyone in the room, especially those of you who actually raised your hand when you said, yes, I use PeeringDB, whether it's on a daily basis or a regular basis. If you do, I think you should contribute to this effort. It's great to see that exchange points are sponsoring, but I really think there should be a broader support. This is a community-based effort, and it is to the benefit of the peering community, that's you. So I just wanted to encourage others to step up and support the effort. So.
Question? Lars Nima from Netnod. How big is the community that actually contributes to the code? So how many people are working on the actual code? Just curious.
The actual PeeringDB codebase itself is an effort. I think there are 4 people involved in total. It's being coded by a company called 20C. So that is one aspect. If you look at the API side of things, clients that are being created to do any dealings with PeeringDB, it's a much broader effort. I know of at least 10 companies or so that created software to interact with the API. Not all of that is open source, but some is. If you search on GitHub, there are references to PeeringDB, and I expect that to grow over time, because we launched 2 days ago, and I think even though we made a big effort to reach out to people and tell them, hey, this is going to happen, here's the API, this is the documentation to use the API, there are only so many that started using that and did beta trials. Now that it's in production, I'm very curious to see what will happen. And as I mentioned before, for 12 years we couldn't really change anything because the code base was too horrendous to do anything with. Now we can slowly add new features and make improvements. So I'm very curious to see what happens now that we have put this live.
But it sounds like you have a rather small focused team that deals with the code rather than a large community with various opinions going in different directions, which means that you have something that you can maintain pretty well, not only because the code is written in a new way, but also because you have a focused team that can prioritize what to change, when to change, and that's small enough to kind of homogenize the opinions and which ways to go.
There is that. Well, we should separate.
Which is good.
There are the people that code PeeringDB, and then there's the people that decide what the direction should be. And the direction is guided by the product development committee. So it's not just programmers deciding what is best, it's the community deciding which direction PeeringDB should take, what features should be added, what strategy should be followed. Which I think is a healthy development.
Absolutely. Thank you.
This is Mehmet Netnod. I would say that I have really good experience of the new version. On Tuesday afternoon, I think it was version 2.00, which had bad user management or had no user management. I couldn't remove old people that shouldn't be admins anymore. And today it's version 2.02, and everything I asked for is fixed. Or so I don't know if my request was the thing that did it, but it's fast support, I would say. So I really like it.
Thank you for your kind words.
Any other comments or questions? Walt.
How do you get the contacts to show up, sir? The contacts?
Sorry?
The admin contacts? I don't see the emails. I looked at a couple different records, and I was able to see who to contact for peering.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you properly.
I wasn't able to see the contacts for peering when I was using the new version.
Ah,
Well, log in.
a very notable change, especially for organizations that use PeeringDB as a mining field for prospects. It's cut off on the screenshot, but on the bottom left side, there used to be the contacts that anybody could read. With the new PeeringDB, you are required to create an account and actually log in as yourself to be able to view any contact information. So contact information is no longer available if you log in with guest. You really need to create your own account and log in to the website to view the non-contact sales or peering. So please create an account.
Okay.
Good job.
Yeah, fantastic. Thanks a lot, Walt.